All right, I did get a little countdown and a little red button that says end live video, and therefore I'm going to assume that there is a live video. And I'm going to turn your attention to the sketch behind me, which we were working on the other day. Pardon my knee hitting the table and jostling the whole thing, but I have no room. My elbow. Okay, Stellar likes my video. That means there's a video. Excellent. All right. Um, I've got no room. So here we are. All right. Now you'll notice if you watched the other day, this is the sketch we were working on a couple days ago. The figure was sitting down. She had her knees raised. Her head was facing away. Her arm was wrapped around one knee, and another arm barely showing back behind her. Basically, at this point, the only original thing on this current sketch that was on the previous sketch is this line from here to here, and there's nothing else. Just that little curve of the shoulder. Everything else I have erased and redone. So yeah, obviously sometimes you're just not happy with something. You try to tweak it a little bit, and then that doesn't work out, and you try something else, and that's a disaster. And then so now the beauty of this is I really don't care how disastrously this goes at this point because it's ruined anyway. It's completely, it's destroyed. It's a waste of paper. So I'm going to just draw. I'm going to give her a sword. You know, surprise, surprise. I'm going to give her a sword, and she's a she's a science fiction girl. You know, she's a Star Wars. What do they call these things? Star Wars thing. Star Wars tentacle head thing. A Twilek, is that right? Twilek. Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's Twilight time. So she's I don't know, maybe we can make it look a sci-fi Star Wars sword. I don't know. Or it's just gonna be a sword. And, you know, you figure out why the hell she's got a sword. I don't know. This is not the particular Twi'lek that danced for Jabba and winds up getting eaten. This is the one that would chop that monster up into little pieces and possibly eat it. So we're just going to do some decorations on the scabbard. I'm kind of in a hurry because somebody's been complaining about my posts, freaking out about nudity and stuff. Uh, the one that got shut down by Facebook was nakeder than this, but I don't know. I don't know what the standard is. A long time ago, I did a drawing. I've told this story, but just in case you weren't here for that, a long time ago, I did a drawing, posted it on my Facebook. The Facebook sent me a notification with a picture of the picture and said, you know, just FYI, somebody reported this for obscenity, but we've reviewed it and we don't agree. We think it's not obscene. And it was a full frontal nude of Ned with his stuff hanging out in full detail. And so I thought they said, you know, it's art. We recognize the difference between art and porn. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'm safe doing the stuff that I do because it's not that I never draw something pornographic, but I don't post it here. I'm not offended by porn. I kind of like it, but I I don't post it here. The stuff I draw here is nudes and frequently on their way to being all dressed up. And so I've got people joining. John Shipman, April Howland, nice. JD Parrish, Jerry Salinas, haven't seen you in a while. All right, so great, guys. Thank you. It's good to see people in here. And so yeah, I was nattering on about my thing. Yeah, so somebody complained about something that was less egregious than that, and uh, they took it off. Um, and that's all I got was a notification. It's just like, this violates our policy or whatever, and it's like no no real explanation. And I mean, it's not all about me. I know that. I mean, I don't like it, but I know it's not all about me. But would like to know what's going on. How to, you know, if there's a new set of rules, if things have changed, kind of need to know what the rules are so that I can comply. Anyway, so I'm rushing to get the idea across that there's going to be clothing on this girl. May not be very much clothing on this girl, but there's going to be some. She ain't going to be starkers. Hope you're all handling quarantine okay, and not going quite as crazy as I am, because I am. I don't know how this little strap is attaching to that buckle. It attaches there somehow. I like for things to look like they would work. They don't necessarily have to look like something you'd wear, but they have to look like they would work. All right, I'm kind of liking that. Grab my eraser and pick out some highlights. Get rid of these conflicting lines so I remember what it was I was trying to do. Well, there's a D ring on that sword there and there. So there's got to be some kind of mechanism suggested that, a clip or something that hangs onto that. All right. like 10 years ago, I got really, really sick with pneumonia, and I damn near died. And I really should have gone to the hospital, but I toughed it out at home. That's why I damn near died. And it was more than a month of not breathing properly because it was hard to suck in a lungful of air. And I came out of it damaged, but not in ways that you could like you can look at me on the street and go, "Oh, there's something wrong with that guy," other than he's funny looking or something. But you couldn't know that um, something had happened to my lungs, for example. But my lungs were no good since then. I've had breathing problems ever since then, and I had other problems. I had mysterious problems. I used to work at Albertsons as a sign painter, and I did artwork for all the locations all over the valleys. There were like 40 of them. I knew where all of them were. I'd been to all of them many times, and well, at least a few times, and many of them many times. And so, that was kind of my world. I knew all about that stuff. And recently, Stellar and I were at a different grocery store at a Bash's, and she said something about back when that Bash's used to be uh, an Albertsons. And I said, no, that was never an Albertsons. And she said, yes, it was. We were here when it opened, and we did work here, and you made signs, and we used to come here and eat at this restaurant that's down there on the end in the little courtyard at the other end of the shopping center. And I said, there's no courtyard in the shopping center. I don't remember being here. And like I drove down to the other end of the shopping center and there was this cool little courtyard with a restaurant. I have zero memory of this. Zero. And I mean, apparently this was something we did on a fairly regular basis. I have absolutely no memory. It's like sometimes when you forget something, somebody reminds you, you go, oh, yeah, that's right. But I literally, she may as well be talking about something that happened in somebody else's life. And it's because of that pneumonia. Um, that's not an isolated story. I have dozens of stories like that. She'll mention something, and I absolutely haven't got a clue what she's talking about. But she can back it up. She can find proof that this happened, but I don't remember it. And anyways, I've told people about this kind of thing since then, and they all just kind of give me that little side eye and go, oh, whatever, okay, whatever. Uh, because pneumonia doesn't do that. I mean, it's a bad cold or something like that. And now, uh, doctors are writing articles on what it's like to recover from COVID-19, and it's like that. Okay, and of course, there's no data, not particularly on COVID-19. What they're talking about is recovering from a really dreadful case of pneumonia. That's where all their data comes from because there's been hundreds of thousands of people like that, and it affects you very, very much. And I'm nattering on about all of this not to get your sympathy, but because I know some people who are posting on their Facebook that, God, I just feel like getting out there and licking the doorknob on the grocery store just to get it over with, get the disease and get it over with. And the point is, uh, you're not going to get it over with. Okay, you just introduced a whole new chapter of messed up to your life because um, I've had trouble breathing since then. I can't be around a cigarette smoker since then. I will literally pass out. If you walk up, go and light up, I'm on the floor just like that. I will pass out. I can't. I cannot. I don't have the endurance. I have about 10% of the endurance that I had before. I can't run. I can't jump. I can't. I've got less. My sense of balance is completely screwed up. And it was worse 10 years ago. I mean, it's gotten a little better since then, but it's not a fraction of what it was before that happened to me. I mean, people, I'll tell the story and people, well, you're getting older. Like, no, you don't understand. January, I was fine. March, I was utterly and absolutely screwed up. Okay. That was, uh, that was too abrupt to go, well, you got old, in that 6 weeks. I didn't get old in that 6 weeks. I got old for sure. But um, all of my aging did not take place in that 6 week time frame. Uh, I've had bad eyesight since then. I've had bad hearing since then. I've got huge gaps in my memory. I am demonstrably less intelligent than I was before. I have less physical strength than I had before. I coughed so goddamn hard that I literally ripped every muscle in my chest, in my stomach, and in my back. And then I ruptured a disc in my back, and I gave myself several hernias that had to be operated on recently. And I may have to go in for surgery on my back, which is terrifying. But it hasn't gotten any better. I mean, when I was, 11 years ago, if I woke up in the morning feeling like I'm feeling right here today, I would have gone to the hospital because it hurts that bad. But that's just my default state right now. That's just how life is. Um, this is actually a fairly good day for me. Um, so, anyways, I'm saying all that to say, don't go out there and look at doorknobs thinking you're going to get it over with because it's just starting. If you catch this disease, people who have gotten over COVID, um, you know, they're not dying anymore uh, if they've gotten over it, but they're not well and they might never be well again. And, I'm already so diminished that if I caught it, I don't think I'd be amongst the survivors. It just seems really unlikely to me that I would get past it. I would definitely go straight to the hospital this time instead of trying to tough it out on my own. But anyway, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's talking about COVID-19. That's all I've got to contribute. I wouldn't be saying that if I wasn't seeing people going, oh, let's just get it over with. Go catch it so we can go back to normal life. You're not going to go back to normal life if you catch this thing. Your life will never be normal. Of course, our lives may not ever be normal anyway. Hey, Rachel. Rachel joined. Rachel's my niece-in-law. I I don't know. She's that girl from over there. All right, she's got a belt. She's got some thing hanging down across her butt and wrapped around her front, and she's got some headgear and some armbands, and she's got a sword. And what else does she need? Uh, Something in the background, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. This is really awkward because I'm doing this sideways. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not in front of my drawing. I'm off to the side of my drawing. Sometimes I'll look at these things later and go, "Oh, that isn't right," but it looks right from over here. I get over there, and it's not right. That's my excuse. I can see it better on my computer screen than I can looking over here. Um, so yeah, awesome pose and great shading. It was nice to watch you work. Thank you, Tom. Dennis McKiernan. Hey, Dennis. Celebrity in the room, by the way. Everybody say hi to Dennis. Famous author. What have you written? Like 600 books or something like that. It's like something like that. He's written a lot of books. So, not real sure what else to do. I'm kind of suggesting a doorway there, but yeah, maybe. This is Gilead's quick and dirty shorthand for ancient culture, carving, architectural, something, something, something. Something's going on. That kind of decoration, when you do see it in architecture, is called vermiculations, which means something like made by worms, which I like. That's really cool. All right, now is the time to crack out the white chalk. Uh, in my life drawing class, there was a teacher who'd been a life drawing teacher himself at a different school, and that he was just drawing with us in the group, but he used to scold me for my extremely gratuitous use of the white chalk. So whenever I cracked it out, I would look around the room. Is Jim watching? Okay. He used it, but he used it very subtly and did very uh, well, very graceful, nice things. And I use it very heavy-handed, like it's a bucket of paint. Vermiculations on her arm guard. There you go. That gives me something to make highlights across. Just like that. Yeah, subtlety. Something. I don't really know what that word is. I'm not very good at that. I almost threw this away when I realized how little of it remained from the original sketch in life drawing class. I was like, I'm not even making a point with this, but I suppose it makes some kind of a point. You can, you can salvage almost anything. It also means if I fail to salvage it and just really screw it up and wind up throwing it in the trash, I'm not going to worry too much about it. At its absolute best, all this represents to me is a I don't know what call it, like a template, like a it's the sketch that I'm going to use a to make a nice drawing some other time. So, um, I might put this down on a canvas or a piece of illustration board or something, and trace the drawing onto another uh, piece of material. So this is never what I consider to be the finished product. That's why I don't really worry about all these stray lines and these erasures and wrinkling it and sometimes getting coffee spilled on it, and lots of bad things happen to these poor little sheets of paper. But you know what? It's going to get even worse if I do wind up tracing it onto a canvas. Then this piece of paper is going to get completely ruined, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take charcoal and scrub it all over the back, and then I'm going to put it down on the canvas and take a ballpoint pen and go over any of the lines that I want to go over, that I want to keep, and that'll dig holes right through the paper and just completely ruin this sketch. But that's okay. It will have served its purpose. This posture, this pose that I've got her in, is 100% different than what we started with, but I did go back and find a photo of one of my other models that let us take photos, and she was she was standing there, from behind and kind of looking over her shoulder. She wasn't doing this with her arms or anything, but it was enough information to do a better drawing than I could have made up out of my head. I'm not that good at just making that up. You'd think after doing this 9,000 times that I would be better at that, but apparently I need to do it about 1,000 more times, and then maybe then it'll be 10,000 times. How long have I been going? How many people have spoken? Brian Korzek's here, and Yosh. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. Yosh? I don't know. And how long have I been going? I've been going 29 minutes, and I was going to give it 30 minutes, so got about a minute. If you got any questions, ask them real quick. Um, and this seemed to work this time frame. We did it at this time because I tried 6 other times to get it to happen, and it wouldn't happen. So it was this late because it's still messing with it. Um, so Facebook's trying something new, as they always are, and So I've sent my feedback and said, no, your thing doesn't work. Um, and so it's been about 30 minutes. Thank you all for watching. And if you'd like to support my efforts, uh, visit patreon.com/Gilead and throw a dollar in the tip jar. You know, as they say, if you're afraid of change, I'm not afraid of change. Throw it in my bucket. And so, yeah, for as little as $1 a month, you can keep me off of the street and off of drugs. And Rand Lyons just joins. Rand, thank you for coming. We're done. We're over. Sorry about that. Maybe I don't know. We'll do it again later. Either yeah, tomorrow. We'll do it again tomorrow. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for coming.